Happy New Year and welcome back. I took a few days off to reset after an intense last year, and honestly I like that you never know what's coming on this channel. It's the opposite of what YouTube gurus would recommend you. People need to know what you stand for and stuff, and I just don't care. I want to do the opposite of what could ever make this boring. So here we are with the first video of 2026, and it's hard to beat last year, but hey, we're here to try it. This year I want to give you more behind the scenes of how I shoot my life and sports. So welcome to the first episode of Make It Look Like It Felt. No tutorial energy, just sitting here, just how I shoot my life and turn it into something I want to rewatch, you want to rewatch, because that's the whole point, right? We're not trying to make content, we're trying to capsule and bottle a moment exactly how it felt. And the first episode today is sponsored by Musicbed, because I use their music and songs in every video on here, and you see why later in this video. So I got also recommended to do these kind of videos behind a paywall and just sell a course of how to do it, but it just didn't sit right with me, so I tried to give back with that. And this morning we've been out there and shot stupidly clean cinematic cycling shots. So in today's video I'll tell you how it actually works and what I do with the footage to reach millions or even sell it to brands to make a living out of it. Last year I've reached over 1 million people here on YouTube with shots like these, and consistently hit 3 to 6 million monthly views on Instagram. So let's go to this morning's behind the scenes, where I met up with Alex Kukla and Tim and my dad to create cinematic cycling stuff in just 1 hour. Because for shots like this you actually need some things: a car, someone who drives the car, someone who's crazy enough to sit in the back of the car holding a camera out there, yourself riding your bike, and optional even another mate riding the bike with you. Good morning. To make the best shots, what you have to do is wake up early, as the best light is always in the morning or just before the sun sets. Today there's no sun, but we try it anyways. Misty footage today.
Try my best, yeah? Danke.
Still no sun. It is what it is. We just film it like it is, and it's now a bit more mystic scenes. I think when it comes to these cycling car, riding behind the car scenes, it is important to communicate up front and, you know, do some stops, communicate how the speed was. And honestly it's a good choice if the driver, like today, is a cyclist as well, because he knows on the climb you will be way slower. I'm giving Alex some solo scenes now because I've shot this road over and over again already.
The real. You looking at the real. Okay, this how it goes down. Kick in the door, they said we too loud. I got the bass to shake the whole crowd. What we got in store gon' have them like, wow. Why you tryna bite my style? I got a paralegal on the squad right now. Wow, I could put the pro in profound. When you at the top, this is exactly how it sounds. Tell them run it up, tell them run it up. Tryna run with us, better hurry up. They doing the most, they ain't done enough. Boy, I'm top 2 and I ain't runner up. DOA if you in the way. CSI, it should be a crime when I'm on the brakes. Mow the lawn, I'm taking the head right over the
Okay, we found a good spot for running. So we are switching it up now. We have the mountains in the back. Very quiet road, no traffic. Just perfect. Mistake I did today was picking a body on the side that looks actually like this. So I definitely keep my shirt on.
We've been here before. I told you verse 1, I'ma kick in the door. They want it well done, but I'm giving it raw. Authentic, yes, of course. I'm trying to make a killing, so I'm sorry for your loss. Keep it a buck, we just heating up. Raising the stakes, tell them any job. Send one up above, I don't need the luck. Pray over the beat, then I eat it up. I reminisce about every time that I lost. And it's funny cause I couldn't remember a thing at all. I guess it's cause everything that we doing is so new war. I'm taking it to the stars, to infinity and beyond. I'm flying with open arms, hoping they come along. I'm raising up all the bars, to places they never gone. I know that you know the deal, I'm sharpening all the scales. They getting used to the feel. You looking at the real.
For those who are interested, the magic behind the camera. This man today. On a gimbal.
Yeah, bro.
DJI.
Ja.
Which one? Like,
Er ist 4 Pro.
okay.
Mit der FX30, weswegen wir mit einem 10:18 filmen. 100 FPS, also komplett Slow Motion gefilmt. Alles S-Log. Egal, beim Rad habe ich aber auch alles quer gefilmt mit dem Weitwinkel. Weil ich habe hier ein Gitter drin und dann kann ich immer ganz genau sehen, wie das für ein Real-Format aussieht. Und man hat einfach mehr, sag ich mal, Spielraum.
Link to Tim's Instagram is in the description, to Alex as well. Now that we're done, the sun is out. Can you imagine? But it doesn't matter. We got no time anymore. And we actually did every shot we needed to do. So now we go back and I catch some breakfast. Second session of the day, and we are out to go on a kite surf session at the Cape Point National Park, Cape of Good Hope. Nick, who is a pro windsurfer, he's shooting some sails and it will be shot by a professional surf photographer. Of course, I'm not good enough as a kite surfer. In this modern era of content, everyone can do it. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you're a good storyteller or are good at using these tools, cameras, you can make a living out of this. Will I work with kitesurf brands in the future? I don't know. But if I never do content around it, I probably won't.
I ain't trying to chase.
Really how I planned it. Let's go back to the studio and then talk about it. We are back in the studio and now we're talking about how to use the footage to reach millions. Why did I include the kitesurfing part even though there's not really professional content that I can show you? Failure is part of the game, trust me. That we shot all of this morning in 1 hour, like the running, the cycling. The backbone behind it is trying it a lot of times, and you know, especially Tim and Alex, they do it every day together, so they are spot on, the communication is there. And I've been doing this now for a year. I've been riding behind cars that are with guys holding a camera out there for even Eurosport TV ad commercials this year. So trust me, I had times where I wanted to meet up, but we had no driver, no one that is capable of holding the camera stable. And yeah, it was a long way to get there, but I still want to show you how it's done. Because I feel like I get so many questions how we do it, and people still think that someone is riding on the bike holding a camera, which is just not possible. Let's look at the footage and why it actually looks like advertisement stuff. It's not the camera. Honestly, the camera Tim was using it costs 1,500 euros. The lens is like 500 euros. The gimbal is 500, which is crazy when you compare it to the quality you can get out of this. When we look at this shot, the three things that make this shot look this cinematic is: one, the camera is on a gimbal, so it is a stable image, which gives an expensive vibe, as it's just not moving. And secondly, the car and the riders are moving at the same speed. So the background flows and you stay locked in the frame, and there's a lot of motion blur happening. Which brings me to 3, motion blur. Motion blur is just happening when you are having the camera on a 180 shutter rule, because that's how we see the world with our eyes while motion, which basically means if you shoot 24 frames per second, your shutter is 150. If you shoot 100 frames per second slow-mo, your shutter speed is 1 to 200. For that, most times when it's sunny out there, you need an ND filter that you screw on, like sunglasses for your camera. But now let's talk about the edit, which is a big part of the content game, right? I mean, shooting is one thing, but when you don't edit it, no one will see your content. And it's a thing that can make a difference. One thing I do really enjoy, and I feel like it's the most important thing, is the music. Because this makes the difference if you feel it or you don't feel it. And this is where Musicbed matters. Every licensing platform or music platform says they're different, but most of them just give you the same generic song feeling. I mean, just look at the same clip from the intro with a generic song I found on the internet. You feel the difference. Musicbed is different because they are curated by real persons. And with that, the songs, they feel like real emotion. And I feel like that's what makes people stay on your videos. You're not just filling this silence or doing the job. You are telling the viewer what to feel. And I'm not saying this in serious. I use it on every episode I do have on here on YouTube. And how I do it is whenever I look at the footage, or even sometimes while writing, I have a song in mind that is a popular song, like Red Hot Chili Peppers or 50 Cent or Tupac, like whatever it is that was actually close to what you feel or what you could imagine having on the ears while writing. This is what I type into that AI search bar, and then Musicbed is recommending me songs that are very close to that. So I'm already very close to the emotion I want to put out, and then I just put it below the footage, and then I just go with it. If you want to try that for yourself to make your movies actually feel like something, there is a link in the description where you can get a 2-week trial of Musicbed, so you can make your next edit your best edit. But putting out content without actually being seen by a lot of people is alright if you just do it for yourself. But if you want to make a living out of this, or I was always asking myself, why do I post stuff if it's just for me? The human interaction is what makes us feel most alive and most human. And by me putting out content the last year, I've made incredible interaction with all of you on the DMs, on the street. And I'm just so happy that I overcome that excuse of why should I post it if it's just for me? Because creating content is always mostly for me. I just want to capture the moment. But why not hit the share button, bro? It won't hurt you. So let me show you how I break down my best clips from today into reels that actually reach people. So what I do is I did take out the best 3 10-second clips I found from today and send this to my iPhone, where we're now going to do very easy reel edits. You can go crazy on reels, don't get me wrong, but I feel like my main platform is YouTube. I can't spend another double amount of time on my Instagram. So I just want to take the best clips and make the best out of it with sharing it. And my rule is that shares are king. Shares and saves on reels is what triggers the algorithm the most. So let's go on the iPhone and create a very quick reel together. So let's hop onto the phone into the Edits app, which is from Instagram, and you can use everything else. I feel like if you want to be quick, earlier in my content career I always thought it's very important that I have a font no one else is using, that the font is like this or like that. But actually I feel like it doesn't matter, and I feel like even the Instagram fonts are performing better than a font from outside of the world. But you do you, I just show how I do it, and you can take along whatever you like. To make this actually be a reel that will be shared, we use text and we use trial reels to figure out what is performing the best. So what we do is this clip from the running part today I really like. So I have this here. no sound as it's slow-mo, so we need to figure out and find a sound to put on top of this. I actually just try and error. That can work already, so we just take that one and then we put up a text. And what's great about this wide shot is that there is a lot of space around the buttons from Instagram, but also in the top to put on a text that makes this reel from just a cinematic reel to a reel that someone, maybe you, sends it to a friend of yours. Because shares and saves is the thing that triggers the algorithm the most right now. That's how Instagram wants the app to be used. You see a content, you send it to a friend, he goes on Instagram, even though he maybe didn't want to at that moment, but you send him a reel, and so they get more usage time, which is definitely stronger than a like on your post. So I pull up the text tab. For example, I had a reel, let's just repeat it because this is for educational purposes, right? I had a reel once that hit like 250,000 views and had a lot of shares just by, if you show up, I'll show up. Because it fits to that, you know, looking at the footage, it has to make sense. And here it makes sense because I'm running with someone else, with Alex, and it just makes sense to have something that fits that. So you can either have it centered, but I feel like here it just fits to have it at the top of it. And I feel like this is the easiest. Of course, you can do more cuts, more text to keep the viewers, but I don't want to get copyright striked here on YouTube, but yeah. And then I just export it. You could do like keyframing, a little zoom, whatever, but I want to have this easy. How long did it take me? Like a minute without the chatting, etc. Trust me, I can do. And I feel like this year, even more on Instagram, the most important is volume and speed. And I could make this a better reel, but I don't see reels as my creative place of finding my artist. Do you get me? This is YouTube. So what I do then is just 4K, 24 frames per second, hit export, upload this as a trial reel, which is, if you don't know it, it will not be posted to your followings. It will be posted to people that don't know you yet. And if a trial reel is performing good, Instagram will inform you, and then I share it to everyone else. Some people even repurpose their old reels on there. I don't do that, but this is how I figure out, for example, with the same shot, I do 3 different texts on the same clip, and I switch up the music, and with that I just increase my chances of a reel popping off, and I see what performs best psychologically from the text to the hook to the content. And what I do now is just, if you show up, I'll show up. What's the text? So this is the vibe for 2026. I don't feel like copywriting or like SEO is very important. I feel like Instagram knows what's on the reel by AI, and yeah, it gets sent to the right people, man. I just don't know how they do it, but they do it, trust me. So you can switch up the profile picture, but it's actually almost fine. And then usually I would tag Alex, but as it's a trial reel, I won't. And that's it, mate. I just hit share. And then I go back into edits. I switch the song, and I'll switch up the text to something like, you don't need motivation, you just need the right running body. As this fits the footage, it's a bit too long, because this is something I would share to a friend to tell him he's my running buddy. I don't like to do these things where you kind of back for share, like share this to your best running mate kind of things. I just want to inspire someone to go out and run with someone. I'm not here to just get likes. there is still some sense behind it, and that's important to me. Otherwise, I feel stupid sitting here doing this. I let these reels sit there for like half a day, and tomorrow morning I'll be back here just to revisit and see if they actually popped. You know, comment below. I mean, you can argue that this is not real art, but like I said, today was more about that real part. I neglected in the beginning of my YouTube career, but I figured that you get seen on Instagram and then people watch your YouTube video, which then helps my art again. So I feel like, yeah, it's a reasonable thing to do. At least after a shooting like today, I would do it. And I feel like this is way easier for me to explain also than explaining you how to do a YouTube vlog. I'll try that in the future, but yeah, I just need to get it going. All right, 2 days later after we did the trial reels together, and I did post 2 reels already because they performed well in trial reels. So let's have a look together. The first reel we did together, if you show up, I show up. As you remember, I wanted to have good shares, and I saw after the first day that it was already at 10K in trial reels, and then that's always a point where I know if 24 hours in trial reels is 10K views, it has the potential to go over 100K views if I post it. So that's what I did, and now it sits at 74,000. And you can see it was shared over 400 times, which is a good rate because it keeps getting distributed to get more views and stuff. And Instagram likes that a lot. And then second reel, just the plain running in sync of both of each other. Also good share ratio and even more views, 87,000 so far after just 13 hours. We posted it yesterday. Very happy with the results and the effort we put in. But yeah, don't get me wrong, it's not all about the numbers. I do enjoy this. I hope this was a good insight from creating to posting to then looking at the numbers after like 2 days of how we do it, man, how we film cinematic cycling shots. And now obviously if you do wear, for example, shoes from a running brand, you could pitch this footage to them and say, hey, you know, this performs, obviously people want to see it. I'm wearing your shoes already. Shouldn't we work together? Do you want to have the footage for an advertisement, for Instagram ads you want to push? And then you could sell the brands, you could license it, or you can try to get future work together when they launch a product. But I feel like it's way easier if you have something to show them already, especially with their products. It will be way easier to get a booking and then make a living out of this. So yeah, if you made it so far, thank you. And let me know if you want to see anything more deep dive, or this was too deep dive already, so I know how to move along in the next Make It Look Like It Felt series in the future. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. See you soon. Bye bye.